Hi everyone, welcome to Bonnie Carol Lee Makes Cards. I'm honored to be a guest designer for Siberia Design for her February release. So many gorgeous images, it was difficult to choose, but I ended up doing cards with Sketched Peony and Happy Flower. This video will focus on Happy Flower. The techniques used to create these two cards are very similar. At the end of the video, I will talk a little bit about the process I used to create Sketched Peony and the products that were used. So back to Happy Flower. I used multiple images of Happy Flower, rotating them randomly to print off on vellum paper for the background. I printed a larger image on Neenah 80-pound paper. Because I am creating an oversized 6x6 card, I die cut this image using the largest heart die from Sizzix nesting dies. Next, I reprinted the image using Simon Says stamp masking paper. When cutting the image out, I try to stay directly on the black line or even a little bit inside of it. This will help minimize white haloing around the image. With the mask in place, I am now ready to create my ink blended background. I am using Distress Oxide inks, Black Soot, and Pumice Stone. Ink blending on Neenah Solar White is a little challenging initially. Once the first layer of ink is down, the rest of the layers go on easily. After letting my background dry, I'm ready to start Copic coloring. I color using my darkest to lightest tone. The petals of the flower will be colored with R37, 35, 32, and 30. I'm sure you'll find, as I do, that some Copic colors blend more easily than others. The ones that I have chosen for this image blend very easily, and I only have to put on 2 layers of ink. No matter the image, I always use my colorless blender a lot. I like to leave a little bit of white space to create a highlight area. The colorless blender helps create a smooth transition between the color and the white space. I use a black gel pen to color in the stamens and the center of the flower. The black ink makes the flower center pop. I set this aside for some drying time before I proceed. I die cut black sheet foam using the same heart die that I used for the flower image. After I adhere one on top of the other, I will set something heavy on top until it is dry. This will give me some time to work on my card base. I begin with a piece of cardstock that is sized 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. The vellum paper has been cut a little bit bigger. When wrapping the vellum paper, I start by cutting into the corners with a diagonal line. I create the fold along the edge of the cardstock and then trim off the overhanging triangular pieces at the corners. I use my bone folder to create nice crisp folds. A little bit of Scotch tape is used just to hold everything in place before I go ahead and glue it to a 6 by 6 inch black cardstock panel. This panel is then adhered to my card base. I use Tonic Studios blank card bases that came with envelopes. Perfect, I don't have to go hunting envelopes down. For the die cut sentiments, I use Simon Says Stamps, Wafer Dies, Love You, and the Hey from Hey Love. The Love You sentiment comes with the shadow die. I cut the shadow out of both black cardstock and out of black foam. The Love You and Hey script is cut out of matte gold cardstock. The Hey is also cut out of black foam, and everything is adhered together. Mounting the sentiments on black foam adds some nice dimension to the card. As you can see, I finally tracked down the You in the Love You sentiment. I finished up this card with a few sequins. I use Nuvo Crystal Drops Morning Dew in the center of each sequin. I tend to do this a lot. I don't like the hole in the center of the sequin, and plus I really like the dimension that the Nouveau drops create. I tie in the gold of the sentiment by placing a few drops of Nouveau Crystal Drops Mustard Gold around the card. And that will complete this oversized 6x6 card using Alex Siberia's Happy Flower image. The card created using sketched peony is a regular A2 size card. I followed the same process of masking and then creating a blended background using black soot and pumice stone. Sketched peony was colored with RV 69, 66, and 63. I used a little bit of Y18 and 08 in the center. The sentiment was cut out of cardstock that I had created a blended background using the RV tones. That completes this video featuring Alex Siberia designs. Thank you so much for stopping by.